While the world sleeps, the dreamers rise, the doers rise, the believers rise. There's something powerful about the stillness of early morning. It's quiet, it's honest, it's raw. No filters, no noise, no distractions. Just you and your purpose. I'm telling you, that time before the sun shows its face, that's where greatness is born. I've seen it, I've felt it, I've lived it. You see, there's a magic in waking up before the rest of the world. Because in those quiet hours, you're not competing with anyone. You're not answering emails, you're not checking likes, you're not reacting to chaos. You're building, you're focused, you're ahead. Most people hit snooze on their alarm. But they're also hitting snooze on their dreams. Every time you say 5 more minutes, you delay the life that's waiting for you. That alarm doesn't just go off for your body, it goes off for your spirit. And if you ignore it too many times, you start to believe sleep is more valuable than purpose. Now, don't get me wrong, I love rest. I respect rest, but there's a difference between rest and escape. Some people don't rest because they're tired. They rest because they're afraid. Afraid to start, afraid to fail, afraid to try, so they hide under the covers and call it self-care. But listen to me, growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth happens in movement, in pressure, in sacrifice. The early morning tests your will, that warm bed, that soft pillow, they'll try to keep you. That blanket will wrap around your dreams and try to put them back to sleep. But your destiny is standing in the hallway waiting on you to rise. And if you don't show up, if you don't rise up, somebody else will. Somebody else will take your spot, your moment, your opportunity. Because time waits for no one. I remember when I was just getting started, broke, uncertain, trying to find my way. I had a dream, but I didn't know where it would take me. And then I met a man, a mentor, a real one. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Denzel, if you want to get ahead, you need to beat the sun up. Because when the sun comes up, life starts moving fast. And if you ain't ready, life will leave you behind." That hit me. I took it to heart. I started waking up at 4:30 every morning. Was it hard? Oh yeah. That bed felt like a trap some days, but I got up. I showed up. I started my day with prayer, with purpose. I studied. I trained, I visualized, and little by little, doors started to open. It wasn't overnight, but it was consistent. You hear what I'm saying? Consistency beats talent when talent doesn't show up. You could be the most gifted person in the world, but if you sleep through your calling, it doesn't matter. Talent will get you in the room, but discipline will keep you there. Early mornings are where battles are won before they even begin. Athletes know it. Soldiers know it. Leaders know it. You want to be something. You want to make something out of this life. Then start by beating the sun up. Win the first hour of your day, and the rest of the day will follow your lead. I talk to God in the morning, not because I'm perfect, but because I need direction. Because in the silence, I can hear things I can't hear during the noise. In the early hours, when the world is still, that's when your inner voice speaks the loudest. That's when God whispers, "Keep going." Some of you are waiting for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. Discipline is loyal. You won't always feel like it. You won't always be inspired. But if you build a habit, if you lock it in, then your actions will carry you through your emotions. Every morning is a test. Every morning is a gift. You've got 2 choices when that alarm rings. You can rise up and meet your purpose, or you can close your eyes and let the moment pass. You were not created to blend in with the background. You weren't made to sleep through your calling. You were made to shine, to lead, to build, to rise. And it all begins before the rest of the world even opens their eyes. So I'm asking you, no, I'm challenging you, wake up. Not just from sleep, but from excuses, from fear, from doubt. Wake up and claim what's already yours. Wake up early and watch your life change. Your bed is a battlefield. I mean that. It might look soft. It might feel warm, but don't let it fool you. That bed is where most people lose the first fight of the day. That bed whispers things to you, real sweet things. It says you deserve rest when you haven't earned anything yet. It says stay just a little longer when you know you're supposed to be moving. That bed, Comfort itself is the enemy of discipline. Let me ask you something. How many times have you made a plan at night, told yourself, tomorrow I'm waking up early, tomorrow I'm working out, tomorrow I'm starting fresh, but when the alarm goes off, what happens? That plan starts to melt. It fades because your body's still tired, your mind's still groggy, and the bed is still warm. That's the moment, that's the test, that's the battle, and most people lose it before their day even begins. See, comfort is seductive. It's that little voice telling you it's okay to skip today. But here's what I've learned. Comfort never leads to greatness. Never. Nobody ever built a legacy, changed a life, or fulfilled their potential by choosing what's easy. Greatness lives on the other side of resistance. It lives in the places that challenge you, not the ones that coddle you. And let me tell you something else. Discipline ain't glamorous. It's not about motivational speeches or hyped up music or that perfect Instagram post. No, discipline is quiet. It's early. It's lonely. It's that alarm at 4:30 in the morning when no one's watching, and you get up anyway. That's discipline. That's strength. I remember days on set, shooting for hours, exhausted, mentally drained. And yet I'd be up the next morning before the sun, rehearsing lines, reading scripts, hitting the gym. Why? Because I understood something. Talent gets your foot in the door, but discipline keeps you in the room. Comfort says you've done enough. Discipline says you haven't even started. People ask me all the time, Denzel, how do you stay consistent? How do you keep going? And I tell them, because I stopped making decisions based on how I feel. I don't wait to feel ready. I move anyway, because if you only act when it's convenient, you'll never achieve anything significant. Your emotions are temporary, but the consequences of your choices, those are permanent. Discipline builds character. It builds identity. You want to know who you are. Look at what you do when nobody's watching. Look at what you choose when there's no reward, no applause, no spotlight. That's the real you. The person you become in the dark determines how brightly you shine in the light. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. That's the point. It's not supposed to be. You'll feel tired. You'll feel doubt. You'll feel tempted to fall back into old habits. But each time you rise, each time you get up and push forward, you take a piece of that weakness and you crush it. You break it down. You replace it with resilience. I've seen too many people with potential fall in love with comfort. And that comfort became a cage. They waited for the right time, the right mood, the perfect conditions. Let me tell you, perfection is a myth. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Life moves, and you've got to move with it, or get left behind. Every morning, you've got a choice to make. Stay comfortable or get disciplined. Comfort is easy, and it gives you nothing. Discipline is hard, and it gives you everything. Your goals, your health, your relationships, your peace, they're all tied to how disciplined you are. It starts with one decision, one choice, one action. Wake up, get out of bed, lace your shoes, hit the books, train, pray, plan, build. Do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Because here's the truth. Comfort may feel good now, but it'll cost you later. Discipline might feel hard now, but it pays you back for life. So when that alarm rings tomorrow morning and your body wants to stay down, remember this: your bed is a battlefield, and warriors don't back down, they rise. Time is a gift. It's not a promise, it's not a guarantee, it's a gift. And every morning you open your eyes, every single day you get to breathe, you've been handed something priceless. But the problem is, most people treat time like it's just there, like it's endless. They waste it like it's cheap. But you and I, we don't have time to waste because the clock is ticking. And not just out there, but in here. Inside you, inside your purpose, inside your dream. Let me tell you something about those early morning hours. The ones most people sleep through. That's sacred time, that's divine time. The world is quiet. The noise hasn't started yet. Nobody's calling you. Nobody's texting you. Nobody's demanding anything from you. It's just you and the stillness, you and the silence, you and your thoughts. That's when the hour is yours. What you do in that time, that determines the kind of life you build. I used to take it for granted too. I'd say, I'll do it later. I'd push off my priorities for the evening, thinking I'd have more energy. But here's what I learned: when the world wakes up, it brings distractions with it. Phone calls, emails, traffic, people pulling you in all directions. You start reacting instead of creating. You start responding to life instead of leading it. But if you can claim the first hour, if you can own the silence, you take back control. I remember a time when I was filming, going city to city, long days on set, barely sleeping. But every morning, no matter where I was, I'd get up before the sun. Not because I had to, but because I understood that time is spiritual. That time is an opportunity to align, to reflect, to prepare. I'd pray, I'd read, I'd think, I'd plan. I wasn't just preparing for the day, I was sharpening myself. You don't get sharper by waiting, you get sharper by showing up in that time. It's not just about productivity, it's not about filling your calendar or checking boxes, it's about presence, you hear me? It's about meeting yourself before the world meets you. It's about checking in with your soul before the day tries to rip you apart. Because once that day starts, you might not get that peace back. You've got to grab it before the chaos begins. People say I'm not a morning person, and I get that, but this isn't about personality. This is about purpose. The world will always give you a reason to sleep in. It'll always give you a reason to stay distracted. But if you don't carve out time to build your vision, don't be surprised when you find yourself building someone else's. Don't be surprised when your life feels off course, because you never took the wheel in the first place. The most successful people I've met, they don't just manage time, they honor it. They treat it with respect. They treat that early hour like it's gold, because it is. In that hour, your ideas are clearer. Your spirit is open. Your intentions are strong. It's the time to write, to pray, to sweat, to plan, to listen, to grow. You've got dreams, don't you? Visions you've kept hidden. Goals you've whispered in the dark. Things you want so bad it burns in your chest. But wanting isn't enough. Passion isn't enough. You've got to schedule your greatness. You've got to make time for it, and the best time, the purest time, is early, when the city is asleep, when the streets are still. When it's just you and God, you and the grind, you and the greatness you're trying to unlock. People talk about finding time. Let me tell you, you don't find time, you make time. You protect it like a lion protects its cub. And if you're waiting for free time to just appear, you'll be waiting forever. The morning doesn't give you more hours, but it gives you better ones, cleaner, quieter, sharper. When you win the morning, you don't just win the day, you win your identity. You start to believe in your own voice. You build confidence not by shouting into the noise, but by owning the silence. You step into your purpose fully awake while the world is still yawning. So tomorrow, when that alarm rings, before the traffic starts, before the emails come, before the noise builds, remember this: the world is quiet, and the hour is yours. Success leaves clues. That's not just a saying, it's a map. A quiet truth the world tries to ignore because it doesn't want the answer to be that simple. But look around, really look, study the greats, the icons, the pioneers, the builders, the ones who went first, who went far, who didn't just make a name, they made a mark. What do they all have in common? What's the invisible thread that ties them together? They rise early, not because they're superhuman, not because they were born with some magical switch that turns on at 4 a.m. They rise early because they understand something most people never figure out. Greatness is built in the dark, before the lights come on, before the applause, before the noise. You think success just shows up one day. No, it's trained, it's scheduled, it's disciplined, it's crafted in the quiet. You think Kobe Bryant was just born legendary. That man was in the gym before the sun even peeked over the horizon. He wasn't doing it for the cameras. He was doing it because he understood. While you're sleeping, someone else is working. Someone else is getting better, sharpening their mind, strengthening their spirit, getting 1 inch closer to what you both say you want. The difference, they're up and you're not. I've walked with legends. I've spoken with them, learned from them, been humbled in their presence, and every single one had this fire, this quiet urgency. Not loud, not arrogant, but powerful. They don't waste time. They don't hit snooze on purpose. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't talk about grinding, they live it, and it starts with when they wake up. The greats rise early because they know early hours are unclaimed, pure, uncontaminated. That's when they get clarity. That's when they study, when they read, when they create. No distractions, no interruptions. Just focus. That's when they beat the world to the punch. You want an edge, that's the edge. While the rest of the world is asleep, the greats are gaining ground. But here's the truth. It's not just about waking up early. It's about what you do when you wake up. Getting out of bed is just the first win, but it sends a message to your mind, to your body, to the universe. I'm serious about this. It's about saying, I'm not going to let life happen to me. I'm going to happen to it. People say they want to succeed. People say they want to be remembered, but wanting is easy. You know what's hard, choosing early mornings over comfort, choosing discipline over distraction, choosing the process over praise. You don't become great when the world is watching. You become great when nobody's watching and you're still showing up. There were mornings when I didn't want to get up. Cold mornings, long nights, tired body, heavy mind, but I still rose. Not because I had to, but because I knew if I kept choosing the pillow over the purpose, I'd never see what was possible. You can't expect results from work you haven't done. You can't expect a harvest if you haven't planted. And planting takes effort. It takes time. It takes early mornings when the soil is untouched and the world is still asleep. You say you have a dream, then look at your habits, look at your mornings, because success is not an accident. It's a pattern. It's a rhythm, and if you trace the steps of those who have walked the path before you, you'll see it. Every great person left footprints in the morning dew. Every visionary got up when the world was still dark. Because the world gives more to those who show up early, the morning is when vision takes shape. It's when goals turn into plans and plans turn into progress. That's when character is built. That's when doubt gets quiet and faith gets loud. When the world says sleep, your purpose says let's go. I don't care how big your dream is. If you're not willing to rise early, to claim that time, to meet your gift in the silence, then you're not really in it. You're playing with it, and life doesn't reward players. It rewards warriors. It rewards builders. It rewards those who move before the crowd and act before they feel ready. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself, are you going to chase greatness? Or are you going to sleep through it? Because success leaves clues, and the greats, they rise early. You won't always feel like it. That's the truth nobody likes to hear. You won't always wake up with a fire in your belly. You won't always feel inspired or excited. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel overwhelmed. Some days you won't feel anything at all, but do it anyway, because greatness doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline doesn't wait for emotion. If you only move when it feels good, if you only work when it's convenient, then you're building your life on sand, and it won't stand when the storms come. Discipline, that's the foundation, that's the steel beneath the surface. It's what holds you together when everything else falls apart. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the flame you protect with your life. Discipline is what wakes you up when the bed feels like heaven. It's what gets your feet on the floor when your body says no. It's what drives you when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's telling you good job. I've had moments where everything in me said, take it easy today. Moments where the success I'd already achieved tried to rock me back to sleep. Moments where fear disguised itself as logic, but I didn't listen. Not because I was special, but because I had made a promise to myself. And once you make that promise, once you tell yourself you're going to build something, you better mean it. You better be willing to suffer for it. Because dreams don't come cheap. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't post online. Discipline is quiet. It shows up early, stays late, and never makes excuses. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if it's raining, it doesn't care if the world is unfair, it shows up anyway. You see, emotion is temporary, it shifts like the wind. One bad night's sleep, one rough conversation, one negative thought, and your whole motivation can vanish. But discipline, that's your anchor. That's the voice inside that says, I don't care how you feel. We keep going. Think about an athlete in the gym, sweating through pain, lungs burning. You think they feel like pushing through rep after rep. You think they feel like getting up at 4 a.m. while others sleep. No, but they do it anyway because they're not chasing a feeling. They're chasing a future, and that future requires sacrifice. I've seen talented people fall behind. I've seen genius go wasted. Why? Because talent without discipline is a candle in the wind. It might flicker bright for a moment, but it won't last. But a person with discipline, they can move mountains. They can do things the world said were impossible. They may not be the loudest or the flashiest, but they're consistent, and consistency beats intensity every single time. You want to write that book? Build that business, change your body, heal your life. Then stop waiting to feel like it. Feelings are fleeting. Faith is steady. Discipline is the decision to move even when you'd rather stay still. It's brushing your teeth, working on your craft, showing up for your people, day after day after day. It's choosing growth when comfort whispers your name. I've had days where my heart was heavy, days where the world seemed like too much. But I still stood up. I still spoke truth. I still honored the gift I was given, not because it was easy, but because discipline demands that you rise no matter how heavy the weight. Let me tell you something. There is power in showing up. Power in saying, I will not let my feelings decide my future. When you live like that, when you train yourself to act regardless of emotion, you become dangerous. You become dependable. You become a force the world can't shake. So next time you wake up and you don't feel like it, remember, the great ones felt the same way. They were tired, they were afraid, but they showed up. That's what makes them great, not the talent, not the luck, not the applause, but the discipline to do it anyway. The world is waiting on you, not the perfect version of you, not the inspired, well-rested version of you, the real you. The one who doesn't feel like it, but does it anyway. That's where greatness begins. So now the choice is yours. You can keep hitting snooze, not just on your alarm, but on your life, or you can rise before the sun, rise before the doubts, rise before the excuses show up dressed like reason. Because every morning you wake up early, you're not just beating the clock, you're beating fear. You're telling the world, I'm serious. You're telling your past, I'm not who I used to be. You're telling your future, I'm coming for you. Look, greatness doesn't show up overnight. It doesn't knock on your door with a gift bag. No, it waits for the one who's willing to suffer a little, sacrifice a lot, and show up when no one else will. It waits in the early morning hours where the air is still and your potential is loud. That time is sacred, that time is yours. So tomorrow morning when the alarm sounds and the bed feels warm and the world feels quiet, remember this moment, remember this fire, and choose to rise. Do it not just because it feels good. Do it because it means something. Because in those quiet hours, before the world wakes, that's where legends are made. Wake up and get to work.